Here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third of our exclusive webinar series. As you are aware, today's session, hosted by Waste and Recycling Middle East and Africa, focuses on COVID-19 and medical waste management. It is a unique situation we are all in, and it surely is a challenging time for the healthcare sector as well as for waste management sector, and one cannot emphasize enough the significance of the effective medical waste management practices. It is a very critical area, and at such a crucial time, it becomes more important for healthcare facilities, waste management service providers, and the general public to stringently follow the right procedures and take necessary precautionary measures to deal with the waste in a proper manner to ensure the safety of the community and the personnel working in the field. As you are aware, in today's webinar, we will explore the various issues, precautions, and prevention measures required in the healthcare and waste sectors, as well as awareness, practical measures adopted, and best practices related to handling medical and infectious waste generated in residential and commercial sectors. I would first like to extend our sincere appreciation for all those working on the front line, the healthcare and waste management personnel and workers who are out there working 24/7, and the governments that are providing all the necessary guidelines and support, also ensuring the health and safety of all concerned in these unprecedented times. We have with us today 3 senior industry experts to address the current topic. Engineer Naji Al-Radi started his career in 1986 as a petroleum engineer in the Ministry of Petroleum and Mineral Resources. He joined Dubai municipality in 1990 and managed the hazardous waste disposal system. Later, he became the head of waste treatment section, and during his tenure, he also devised legal regulations related to waste disposal, including waste disposal sites and management of medical waste in Dubai. In 2017, he became the waste management and treatment expert in the waste management department. Over the past 15 years, Andre Louis Brenier has been managing operations, providing waste management services for local governments, municipalities, and public or private corporations. Through these experiences, Andre Louis has acquired high-level skills in landfill management, waste collection, techniques, sorting, recycling, and also in the organization of the technical aspect of activities with ongoing respect for safety, security, and quality standards, with particular attention to social environment. He is currently the general manager at Swiss Middle East Recycling, which he joined in 2016. An engineer by education, Yusuf Barik has worked with diverse sectors ranging from design and industrial manufacturing to power and logistics. Having joined Avarda Dubai in 2011, he recently earned his 3rd assignment as Business Development Director for the GCC region. In 2014, he moved to Oman, where the company is managing medical waste collection and treatment for the government, and was part of the team that introduced disposable medical box for medical centers across Oman, leading to introducing an effective, traceable, and economical vehicle, helping the sector raise the bar. He also spent time in Africa and other GCC countries developing infrastructure to accelerate the business. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you all for joining us. We will be taking questions from the audience in a while. Once the panelists have given their overview of their operations and what's going on behind the scenes with regard to medical waste management during the crisis. You can type out any relevant comment or question in the chat box there. I now request Engineer Naji Al-Radi to give us an idea of how DM has been dealing with the medical waste being generated at present, including COVID-19 waste. Engineer Naji.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I will give just an overview of our new issue with the coronavirus. Dubai Municipality has been managing medical waste, infectious waste, since maybe 1995 at least. At that time, we started building our facilities to receive the infectious waste, and in sorry, yeah, in 19 something like 97. Sorry, 1997. Okay, we started operating our first medical waste treatment facility, and we were receiving medical waste. The medical waste it was, as example, consists of anything infectious actually. Uh, the issue with coronavirus, when it came, uh, it's actually, the caused a huge jump in the quantity of medical waste. We received different types of medical waste. So already we are receiving infectious waste. We know how to deal with infectious waste. The problem for the municipality came with the quantities, actually. That we needed some urgent emergency measures to deal with the quantities, which are more than our capacity. And also we faced many problems, as example, or issues of how to handle even the domestic waste that is coming, because now people are throwing their gloves, their masks into the garbage. It's a potential source of infection. So we needed also to take measures dealing with that. So our yes, our first facility were operated in 1997. Sorry, in 1997. Yeah, and then we gradually increased our facilities. Maybe the main one that we have is the one, the vertical incinerator, that is operated in 2009, as you see. The main thing here, okay, is actually the quantities of waste. Medical waste, during the history of medical waste that is being received by the municipality, medical waste was increasing time by time, year by year, always, always. As example, if you look to other types of waste, they fluctuate. Some during the crisis years, it was, it came down and then it jumped up and whatever. But with medical waste, it was consistently increasing. It was, as example, 9,000, then 10,000. Sorry, 10,000 kilograms. So 10 tons a day, 11 tons a day, 12 tons a day. But if you see from in this table, since we started, let us say in let us say March, as example, or February, okay, the amount of medical waste, the average, increased dramatically, about 3 times, from 14 or 12. The normal we were expecting to be 12 during this year, but what happened that now we are reaching by end of May 43 tons per day, a huge amount. I don't know about June, because we'll get the statistics by the end of the month, which is still 1 week. Okay. Anyway, these are our capacities right now. It's not easy to build your facilities quickly. So when you find, with the, as example, our current capacity, it was, as example, about 24 tons, which are these 19 tons per day plus 6 or 5.5. So about 24 tons per day. And suddenly we have a jump in quantities of medical waste. So we also provided another portable incinerator, which is 6 tons. And we also, needed to provide, as example, more cooling space, storage space, because this you cannot treat it at once. You need to, you have a certain capacity, and then you need to just store the waste and gradually put it into the incinerator and incinerate. So we are right now working 24 hours on site. You can see some portable chillers we have provided just to deal with the extra amounts we are receiving. Also, we provided some disinfection facilities for people, our staff, as example, and also for other facilities in our site. So because we need to provide maximum safety for our staff and safety also to disinfect the area, where the waste is being stored, where the waste is being, as example, treated. Okay. So, as we said, we are working now 24 hours. We have 3 teams working 24 hours, 7 days a week, non-stop. Okay, and also, because they are facing, these are incinerators, and they might have mechanical issues at any time. So we have also standby teams to deal with this. We have, as example, made some arrangements with the private sector to provide help with staff also, not only as example equipment for treatment or whatever, but even the staff, because suddenly we need to work 24 hours with all our capacity. So the private sector was very helpful in this. It's a community issue. We need to put our hands together to deal with it. It's a serious. It's not moving. This is a very quick look into the issue. This was our treatment incinerator, how it's being done, because we have filtration and such things. I don't think this is, as example, an important thing to the audience, but only to show that we have top facilities and we are trying our best to provide best technology to deal with the infectious waste in the way. And thank you. We are ready to answer any questions in this regard after my colleagues finish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Nadia, for that presentation. That gives us an idea of how much medical waste is currently being generated and also the treatment methods. And as you said, it's dramatically gone up. But I perceive some of it could also be due to the increase in number of the tests being conducted and businesses opening up and people starting to travel. So we'll come to that later. For now, I would like to invite Andre Louis to give us an overview of how the waste management sector is handling the medical and other infectious waste. Andre.
Thank you. Thank you, Shawila. I wish to extend also my my appreciation to the frontliner teams, as you rightly mentioned, because our activity suddenly become from just a waste collection system to essential services. So I think we have really stepped up in the hierarchy of the utilities of our sector. But it's true that the waste collection and the waste management has always play a very critical role into the global health consideration in communities. Quickly, an introduction of the company that is having me right now, Suez. Suez is a large waste management and water management company focusing on environmental services. We do all the activities on the waste sector, on the water sector, from consultancy to design to construction, operation, maintenance of water treatment plants. And we have also the same chain of action into the waste activity, where we do the collection. We sometimes have people also on site at some industrial customers' premises to help them segregate and sort the waste. We have the collection, we have the segregation, we have the treatment, and we cover all the activities. Here in the figures that you can see 90,000 employees. You can see that we service 32 million inhabitants into waste collections, but also we have more than 50 waste to energy plants throughout the world, 120 landfills. We are really a world leader into the environmental services. More specifically in the UAE, we have a company named Suez Middle East Recycling, that some of you, if you have been in this market for more than 4 years, may know under the name Trashco. We are very present in this market, and we believe that we have the local know-how as well as the global capabilities. So we believe that we have a good positioning. More specifically in Dubai, we are the leader into the medical waste activity collection for Dubai. So we have really been in the middle of the COVID medical waste system. Quickly on the agenda, my target is just to try to highlight a bit the consequences and the outcome of the COVID crisis. What is a new normal and what it has created. So first, on the impact of the COVID on the waste generation, we have seen also already from Naji that it had a very strong impact on the medical waste. This is not only in Dubai. This is something that has been seen worldwide. And yes, almost everywhere throughout the world, we consider that the quantity of medical waste has been increased by 40 to 50% compared to the normal waste generation. But not only the waste, the medical waste has been impacted. There is also a small increase, or small or not small increase in the waste produced by the household. I believe that as human beings, we have all been impacted by the COVID. We have been locked down for a certain amount of time, and our life has changed dramatically. We were locked at home, and our waste generation there has increased. And in parallel to that, the waste generated by the industries has very strongly decreased. Here in this slide, you can see some picture dedicated to Dubai. But if I place our numbers in Europe, we have Suez as a company. We have shown a decrease in volume of 10% in Germany, Poland, and Czech Republic, 25% decrease in Netherlands, 40% decrease in UK, 50 in Belgium, and up to 70 in France. And maybe you can hear it from my accent. Suez is a French-based company, so still a large part of our business is done in France. So the impact of the COVID is huge on our kind of activities. Secondly, as the logistic and the people were not able to move so easily. Some of the facilities doing recycling and pre-sorting of waste has been shut down. So it ended up by increasing drastically the quantity of waste going either to waste medical incinerator or to landfill based on what is your final treatment schemes. And especially for the medical waste, as we have seen here in Dubai, but most of the medical incineration plant and treatment facility throughout the world were totally saturated with medical waste. When it comes to the situation in Dubai, this is what is inside this slide. You can see that yes, from a business perspective, we have 50% more medical waste that has been generated throughout our customers. That basically for the perimeters that we serve as household, it has been increased by 5%. And for all our, I would say, commerce and industries, we are facing a reduction of activity from 25 to 50%. Nevertheless, when it comes to medical waste, as the municipality has already mentioned, they have increased their opening time, and they have also issued a specific circular to manage properly the PPE generated by the COVID waste. And on our side, as a company, we have increased our capacity in medical collection. Basically, like the municipality, we have started to work day and night. We have provided our team with very advanced PPE protection, so that the risk of transmission of the COVID is reduced. And we have also taken some additional trucks. So we have really put all efforts so that we could cope with the increased medical waste quantity generated by the professionals of the industry. I'm stressing and I'm highlighting the fact that the waste generated by the medical sector has been under control and has been streamlined in a proper manner in Dubai. And this is also the shift to my next point is this situation is very different with the PPE and the scattered quantities of PPEs that are now being increased and generated by the individuals. We all know that today, whenever we leave home, we are wearing a mask, possibly we are wearing gloves, and this is increasing drastically the quantity of single-use plastic and the waste generation. And again, this waste generation is very scattered, difficult to collect, and eventually will end up in the environment, either ocean or landfill, where this waste has still potentially some biohazard risk. So the municipality has started to implement some system to control this better, but it's also very important that every individual try to reduce the quantity and the generation of this PPE. I think we are all responsible for that, and that it's not only we should not only expect from the municipalities and the system, but we should really force ourselves to be a bit more serious. I don't know if I will be able to start the video.
Yes.
Anyway, if the video doesn't start, I think we'll just continue. We had some nice picture of our branch of UK showing some PPE, mask and glove being disposed in proper places. But I'm sure you will be able to find these videos on YouTube or LinkedIn. So I want to stress and I want to highlight this specific point that for this PPE waste, where obviously we cannot go on the usual reuse and recycle because they might be hazardous and they might be vector of contamination. The only way for us as individual is to work on the reduction of this waste. and to make sure also that we are disposing this waste in the proper stream so that it doesn't end up in the ocean or in the landfill. So I want just to share a few figures here. I'm highlighting on the mask, but for me, what is important in this picture is that when you are using the chirurgical mask daily, you will produce at the end of the year more than 2 kg of PPE waste. If you use the FFP2 mask that you can reuse a bit more than just one time, it's not a single use, you will cut by 2 this production. If you use a washable and reusable mask, you will reduce 96% of your waste production. So I think both in terms of economy and in terms of I would say individual behavior, we should really all focus on using the systems that will generate and produce the minimum amount of waste. Because, I mean, even though I like doing business in waste collection, I really believe that the best waste is the waste that you don't produce. So, I mean, again, if we can reduce the quantity of PPE that we will use, it will make the life of everybody easier. After, I want to highlight the fact that is for Dubai and from Dubai municipality that a circular has been initiated and enforced by the municipality, asking all the shops and the supermarkets to provide some means to collect and dispose properly the PPE. So basically, the requirement is you need to have a container for the PPE that needs to be with a lid, airtight, with appropriate liner. The waste, the PPE within this container shall be considered as hazardous or medical waste and should end in the incineration plant of Dubai municipality. And of course, you need to collect it whenever it's full. And if you don't do it, you are facing some legal action and some fines. We as a company, we have started to provide these services for a few customers. We have a few recommendations. Basically, we believe that it's good to have a yellow bin because this is the usual color for the medical bin. You should have also a yellow bag stamped with a biohazard signage. You should take a bin which has a pedal so that you don't need to touch the bin when you want to dispose the bin. It should be properly labeled, and at the beginning, at least, you should have a fixed collection schedule so that you manage and avoid the risk of overflow. You need to be very careful where you place this bin, because I believe that the success of this bin will be if it matches where people are getting rid or are removing their PPE. I've seen a lot of bins placed today just at the exit of the supermarket, where you still have to walk through the mall and through the parking. I don't think this is the right placement. I believe that if you place this bin close to the parking where you actually remove the PPE, you have more chance to bring this PPE to the right treatment methodology. After, there could be also some consideration in higher technology and have a bin which is with a sensor, so that when you place your hand in front of the bin, it would open the lid, and also maybe with a level sensor, so that you reduce the waste collection frequency and you only collect when it's needed, so that basically you also reduce a bit your carbon footprint. This is just some photos of our activity of the medical waste collection. As you can see, the PPE that our people are using are quite advanced. After, I believe that it is also a part of the social responsibility of the companies to engage their employees to reduce and to work on this PPE waste. I believe that, I mean, we have started this within Suez. We are using a methodology that has shown some success over the past. A few years ago, we were facing high number of fatalities within the group, and we have decided that we would establish 10 life-saving rules, and that we will start to have some awareness among our people, that we would put as incentive for our manager to encourage and make sure that the rules are well understood. And today we see that the number of fatalities within the group has steadily decreased since that time. We are starting now a new journey on the same with the same methodology on how we should. I'm sorry, the image is quite low quality, but we are starting today the same journey by establishing 10 golden rule when it comes to act responsibly and hygiene rules. And we believe that we are starting with the awareness. Most probably tomorrow it will come as a mandatory, as an incentive, as a push, and as a global philosophy of the company. And we believe that this is also a way to avoid wider spread of the disease and make sure that we keep our employee engaged and safe from the COVID. I hope I have been clear. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Andre, for highlighting various key issues and also giving your recommendations. There are some questions that have come up here related to the masks, but I think we will take them later once Yusuf has also given his presentation. So now I invite Yusuf Barik to present Averda's medical waste operations in the context of COVID-19. And it will be interesting for us to see what is happening in other countries in the region and other parts of the world as well. Yusuf.
All right. Hello, everyone. First, I would like to start by thanking you, Saida, on behalf of myself and my colleague in Averda, in giving us this opportunity to present the actual status of the medical waste management as a sector and the challenges there. Second, thank you indeed, Engineer Naji from Dubai Municipality for assuring us that we are in safe hand. I mean, the past 60 days, that for those of us who are in Dubai, we've been feeling safer, I think, with everything that's been taken. And indeed, Andre, thank you for such eye-opener, definitely for a competitor, such an eye-opener presentation on how you're managing your own operation. Thank you for sharing that. On my presentation, I'm going to start similar to my colleagues by presenting a little about Averda and then moving forward to a slightly different perspective on when it comes on how did we face COVID-19 across the emerging markets. So for those of you who don't know Averda, we've been there for some time. We are today in 34 cities. We manage more than 20,000, more than 12,000 tons of waste every day. We wake up every morning. Every morning we wake up at, I can't hear you, Saida. Can you get me? Hello?
Could you increase the volume a little bit?
Yes. Is it better right now?
Yeah.
Hello? Yes. So at Averda, we're nearly 16,000 employees waking up every day to service these 34 cities. We are a very diverse company with more than 62 nationalities there and little less than 3,000 trucks running on the streets every day. We are an integrated waste management company that manage end-to-end waste cycles, whether on the medical side, on the health side, or on the public waste. So compared to my colleagues, we are focused on the emerging markets, practically Africa and GCC until now, and we're trying to expand even our footprint in Asia. And therefore, our context would be a little different than the one provided by by Andre, who was focused on the European markets. We're more at a different stage in our markets. What we're trying to do here in my presentation, we're trying to draw a comparison on what's going on between South Africa, Oman, and definitely the UAE, where we're providing medical waste on those three markets. In South Africa, one of the biggest markets we have, we provide end-to-end solution, whether on the hazardous waste side, on the medical side, or on the public side. But the advantage there on the medical waste side, we do provide burning technologies and non-burning technologies that we can discuss later on. As well, we provided over a big geography that would allow as well for us to cater for bigger needs at country level. Where in the UAE, what you see in the picture in the UAE is us trying to ship medical waste incinerators for our amazing partner, Dubai Municipality, who together with them, we were able to put together a serious plan to manage and treat the additional waste that popping up in Dubai. It was really an amazing journey by putting this agile solution there to support the communities where we live in. In the UAE, we do manage the collection of medical waste. The treatment by itself is by Dubai Municipality, but together we were able to provide an out-of-the-box solution to help managing the increased volume of waste. And then we chose Oman as well, because Oman is a place where the whole waste sector is managed by the government as well, and we do manage on their behalf the collection and the treatment. We've been there doing medical waste at least for the last 15 years. There would be a lot of learning that we got from there. And then as well, they had a beautiful experience in managing this COVID-19 waste. So the aim of zooming into these three countries is to draw the difference on the response of COVID-19, and therefore trying to grab higher learnings while getting these three learnings together. Now, the main characteristic of the relationship with these three markets, if you look at the slides, in Dubai, the collection of medical waste is a hybrid collection, which means part of it is managed by the state, part of it is managed by the private sector, and definitely the treatment is monopolized under engineer Naji, who are doing really a fantastic job at this period. In Oman, the collection and the treatment is managed by the government, and therefore that presents by itself as well certain advantage in terms of mobilizing and in terms of ensuring that we have the right practice in place or the right support from all governmental entities. Where in South Africa, the whole model is privatized. So the collection and the treatment is totally privatized by the state. So I wanted to look at these three models and discuss further the difference in answers that in our response toward the COVID-19 across these three markets. Our first learning here that mainly the response would be driven by the regulations provided in the market and the economic model that we're adopting. For instance, in Dubai, definitely with the amazing out-of-the-box solution that they could come up with, we interfered and were able to provide support. In Oman, that's a place where the private sector play much smaller role. The government had to mobilize its own public capacity to provide the needed requirement to meet the COVID-19. Where in South Africa, because it's a place where it's totally privatized, the government relied on the private sector to cope with the added quantities and the added requirement or the increase in requirement to treat the medical waste. These three different models definitely draw three different answers. And in every place, we were able to interfere in a different shape. Definitely for us who were able to look at it from a higher perspective, we were able to share learning from these different markets. But practically, the essential learning here that the speed of responsiveness was derived generally by the high regulation that were already in place. So in places where we don't have, let's say, a trade license allowing you to do medical waste. At the pandemic time, you couldn't act accordingly. Therefore, this highly regulated industry made it very different for all the parties to respond in different timing and different capacity, or in different speeds. At the end, I will draw more attention to this specific differences in the economical model related to treating medical waste. For our people, we did very similar to what Andre has just described, and therefore I'm not going to go into it. Practically, we were taking the measures. We were taking temperature. We had this non-contact temperature reading that were provided at the entrance of every facility we have. Then we focused on this on toolbox stock, on specific protective equipment that we need to have. But I think the most interesting part that we had in place, that we mobilized all of our management, all of our C-level, to meet every day at 11 a.m. to get a real-time data on what's going on at every market level and at our operation level. So we get into a real-time dashboard reporting, let's say, every day, what's happening in the country, what's happening in our project, what's happening within our population. This high-level involvement on the daily basis allowed us to steer during these 2 months, and allowed us to act, I would say, very fast on every single issue that faced us. For instance, let's say in our Congo entity, we couldn't really find there enough thermometers. Then we were able to ship them from a stock available in Oman, without the, I would say, the high involvement of our executive management on daily basis, where these type of issues get reported on an immediate basis. We could not really mobilize the whole company to act in this in the way that we acted during the last period. Now, for our communities, we had a mandate, and then we think that mandate was somehow inspired as well by the fantastic partners that we have, whether Dubai Municipality, whether Abu Dhabi, whether the government in Oman, the authorities in Saudi Arabia. We share the mandate with our partners that we need to participate in spreading the awareness. And that, if you look at the medical waste fleets, which is probably our way to put there the information, the fleet is too small in general to spread, but Ataverda being able to benefit from the existence of an extensive fleet on the waste management side, on the public waste management, we mobilized our whole fleet to show those awareness and to share messages that the public could really consume and appreciate when it comes to raising the awareness related to COVID-19. What you see in the pictures above is part as well of the program that where we were able to support, let's say, Abu Dhabi as well, with providing agile solutions to help in treating the COVID-19 waste. On the what we did as well for our communities, we engaged in this massive disinfection campaign that we were able only to support due to the muscles that we have at the public waste management side. Then for our clients specifically, again, the response was related specifically to the type of relationship and to the regulation available in the market, and to the, I would say, to the level of effectiveness of the awareness that could be derived. For instance, let's say in places where educational is the main segment, such as, I would say, with our dearest contract in Congo and Morocco, we were able to provide these cartoons telling people and informing more the youth about the effect of COVID-19 and how to face it. Where in other places, such as South Africa, we were very much involved in assisting the government in drawing the right legislation and in drawing the right directives when it comes on how to treat the medical waste or how to treat the surge on the quantities. Being there for a long time, being there with the experience and being there with the collaboration vehicle, we were able, I would say, to advise, not definitely not to enforce ourselves, but let's say to advise and to provide some guidance on how things could be done. And that was always possible because as well we were sharing the experiences that we were facing everywhere. Still at our client side, let's say if you look at our operation KSA, our operation UAE and Oman, in every place we did a different thing. So in KSA, our mandate included disinfecting ATMs, where in UAE, our mandate included supporting, let's say, DM with the quarantined waste coming out from the specific quarantine zones and then taking it to the treatment site at Jabal Ali. So I would say the most serious learning that everything was derived from the existing contractual framework. And definitely that was originally led by the existing regulation. I would say in pandemic time, in general, you wouldn't have the time for exceptions, except in places where you are practically, I would say, very agile. And that is not very common in our world. Let's say in Dubai, we are very agile. In Abu Dhabi, we are very agile. But for a company like us that is working on the emergent market in Africa in general and in the GCC, I wouldn't say that all of the existing entities would have the agility that Dubai have it or Abu Dhabi have it. And therefore, the model couldn't be really replicated in that way. Talking about all of this, I believe that the medical waste industry in general have four new challenges or four new opportunities to act with. The first one, definitely we have a surge in PPE, but this surge in PPE will lead immediately to a surge of quantities in waste that maybe by ensuring better segregation at the hospitals, we will be able to reduce the amount of stress provided on top of the existing capacity to treat medical waste. That's number one. Number two, within the same context as well, at the beginning of the pandemic, we have the guidelines telling us all the time that we use only burning technologies, which means incinerators. I mean, that specific guidance was either derived by fear or derive it in some instance by some scientific argument. But today it is believed that we could steer away a little from burning and probably use another type of technologies. But then the insistence of burning technologies only, let's say, had probably made the private sector less capable in supporting the public sector on treating the medical waste. And that else would need a probe that would lead me to my second point. At the beginning of the pandemic, we faced little uncertainty when it comes to the treatment, to the classification of waste. For instance, the food waste that came out from quarantined area was considered at the beginning in some places as medical waste, in other places as still public waste. And therefore, this type of uncertainty led as well to some hesitation on how to lead the way with this specific type of waste. We believe in that aspect, relooking at the regulation, updating the regulation, and allowing better collaboration on the methods of treatment between the public and the private sector would really help in reclassifying and putting better resources in the hand of the public sector. So if the private sector is probably more empowered to help, they will be able to help more. However, if the regulation would not allow it, then it becomes very difficult, except if you are in an exceptional place such as the UAE, where they have the agility framework to work accordingly. And the last point in my challenge or in the coming opportunity definitely would be we're noticing that reverse trend in promoting single-use plastics. Probably today we cannot undo this, but I would say in the medical waste sector, the innovators or the innovation or people who work for the sector would have to work in re-innovating methods of treatment, therefore providing technologies that will help better in helping the public sector in the treatment side. I don't think there's an issue on the collection. Collection is, we can cope with it, but increasing or being more innovative on how to treat that waste would be probably one of the best point that would make us ready to any pandemic that might come up in the future or to any risk that we might face at industry level. With that, I wanted to put these 4 points in front of you, gentlemen, and then to make sure that to use this forum as a start of discussion related to how to push this barrier further for the medical waste industry. Thank you very much for that, and we look forward for the question.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yusuf, for that very detailed presentation and giving us a very different perspective on the handling of medical waste, and also highlighting the need for cooperation between entities, both private and government, and also in the success of the operations, as well as you raised some valid points with regard to the PPE, segregation, waste collection, and treatment. So that brings me to the questions from the audience. There are quite a few related to the masks. Let me start with Andre. I think you might have seen some questions there, which talks about, yes, different types of masks and which is most effective, and whether reusing or washing them and reusing are, okay, and some of them are lighter, some, better. So what is your view on that? Before that, I have a question for you, for all of you, like first with regard to classification, which Yusuf brought up. So is it really classified when you're talking of medical waste now, the food or the PPEs or whatever comes out now, is it hazardous, considered hazardous, or general medical waste? We could start from that point and then move on to what's happening with the PPEs.
If I'm not wrong, I believe the medical waste is an hazardous waste anyway.
Okay. By law, okay, the medical waste is, as Andre said, hazardous waste. The definition of medical waste worldwide, there's something they call healthcare waste. Healthcare waste is the umbrella for other types of waste generated by the hospitals and healthcare institutes and so on. Anything like general waste generated from this chemical waste or medical waste is they call it infectious waste, actually. Now the expression medical waste is not used anymore worldwide. They call it infectious waste. So this gives a better indication of what we are dealing with. In Dubai, because the law we have is very old, local order number 115 for year 97. And that one includes, as example, it said medical waste, and as a class, which includes medicines also. But right now, this is no more valid worldwide. And but we have to change our laws here in Dubai to make it clearer. Worldwide, there is nothing called medical waste. They call it infectious waste. So with the food, as example, generated from hospitals, if it is infectious, then what do you call it? Medical waste. But the problem here, that as example, I highlighted before that from houses, okay, there are many masks and gloves and such things that could be infected somehow, okay, because some people don't know whether they are infected or not, and they still put this into the garbage. So we'll end up with the whole domestic waste or municipal waste as a medical waste. It will be very difficult to do that. Even if we can consider it medical waste, we cannot treat it as medical waste. There's no capacity. So we have to be strict, that whatever comes from the healthcare waste, we will consider it as medical waste to go to the facilities dedicated to the municipal waste. Other types, we need to also, to go to as example, waste landfills, or if in some countries they have waste incinerators for municipal waste. But here, as example, we are taking it to the landfill. In the landfill, we should do something to treat it, as example, disinfect it, and then bury it. We have no options. The huge quantities. Our incinerator 20 tons per day. Our Dubai generates 10,000 tons or 12,000 tons, such things, okay, every day. We cannot treat that in our medical waste site. So there is a confusion, especially in the beginning, what to do with this waste. This is the only option we have, that whatever comes from the medical institutes and healthcare facilities, we will take it to the to our facilities in Jebel Ali, because some types of waste, as example, from the healthcare, intensive healthcare isolation words there, the food coming from there is potentially infected, maybe even highly infected. You cannot just say, I will put it in garbage. I put it in the medical waste. At the end, this is a new thing to us. This whole COVID thing. The world never faced such thing. So in the beginning, there will always be some confusion, and then little by little, it will be sorted out. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
I totally agree with Engineer Naji that there's a serious issue with updating the textbooks and going into the regulation side again. Now, the question itself was, let's say, whether the PPEs used on the daily basis is a medical waste or not. From the way we're seeing, let's say in Dubai they are, in South Africa they're not. Another point would be the alignment of specific, let's say, of the government bodies on the classification. In general, on the medical waste side, you will have always the environmental agencies, let's say, and the Ministry of Health. And sometimes both of them, they issue, according to different readings of the textbooks, what are the guidelines. So for instance, let's say, would you move the medical waste generated from COVID-19 and the normal medical waste together, or you have to move it in separate containers? In South Africa, you have to move it in separate trucks. In Dubai, we have, I think we have that bandwidth to go there. On the treatment side, within the treatment, would you treat them together or do you treat everyone separately? I think this discussion on what are the learnings that came out from this experience is very interesting, specifically for the emerging market, to update the textbooks and the classification needed. So we are better equipped for anything that might come in the future. That's it for me.
Right. Okay, now that you spoke about this, we are talking about PPEs, and there are two questions here. I had this question myself. Rasha and Aruna would like to know. Now, most of us are, using, now it's the rule, it's the norm that we use PPEs. We have to use the masks and maybe the gloves. So we come and dispose it off at home or elsewhere. From the collection side, now, how have you seen, has there been any discussion, because most of us live in high rises and we do this all together. Has there been any discussion with regard to segregating this type of waste or on ways to dealing with this? And now I see for a long time, we are all going to be wearing all these PPEs. So.
I will comment on the quality of the mask, because there is a question on which mask we should use. I mean, I don't want to create any confusion among the audience. Of course, for the medical sector and the people that are exposed to high risk of infection and infected fluids, to have a daily surgical mask makes sense. I'm more talking about the people that have a less exposure and that are not, that I don't think a chirurgical mask is the best answer, because you cannot reuse this one. Usually after 6 or 8 hours, it is considered that a chirurgical mask should be disposed. When you go with other masks, like the FFP2 mask or the washable mask, you can use them for a longer period of time, and they are still giving you the adequate protection in terms of protection against fluid. But you can, as you use them for a longer period, you are generating less waste. After, when it comes to where you should dispose this waste, as Youssef has already mentioned, the regulations are a bit different from one place to another. I believe that in Dubai, I'm not aware that private household had to segregate their PPE. This effort today is requested to the communities, to the shopping malls, and in the industries. It might tomorrow extend to the household. I don't know, but in many places in Europe, the advice was that this PPE should be placed in a bag in a bag, so that it avoids the spread to the people collecting the waste. But there was no obligation for a segregated collection.
Okay, all right. Yusuf, on the segregation side, do you have any comment?
We've started seeing something interesting in Dubai after the regulation provided by Dubai municipality on the necessity of treating the medical waste as the PPEs as medical waste. We've started seeing some real estate providers, some developers looking for contracts where they would place specific medical waste bins, let's say, for the collection of those PPE equipment. We today believe that might be a good and acceptable alternative to collect those a good start, I would say, to collect those medical PPEs or this medical waste. But the acceptance of that idea is still not there. We encourage these real estate companies, those developers, those compounds to really put a place to dedicate certain bins to treat this PPEs as medical waste at least until the COVID-19 issue got probably resolved to a lower risk category, I would say.
So has this been implemented with the business and industrial sector totally so far?
On the business, I can say there are. I mean, we're receiving many requests to provide those small medical bins for the businesses. So I think we are seeing a serious commitment on the commercial side, and then even on as I said, on the real estate and on the developer side. However, on the residential side, it's still very shy. Probably some help as well from the authorities or from Dubai municipality in that sense could really help steering this forward on the residential side.
Engineer Naji, there are questions related to the incinerator. As Yusuf, you also mentioned about the treatment methods. Now, there were two questions related to this. Sadaton would like to know, like, while the incineration method is becoming unpopular and being abandoned in different countries due to environmental reasons, are there any plans in UAE to switch to another system, such as autoclave or steam-based sterilization or any other method? Hello?
Okay, I will take it from here. Okay. Actually, there is no law in Dubai to prevent other technologies. We should be clear, okay? But Dubai municipality right now, by law, is the only, not only authority, but also the only entity to allowed to build and operate a medical waste treatment site. So no private sector is allowed under the current laws. Even as example, Dubai Health Authority cannot build their own waste treatment facilities, medical waste treatment facilities. This is by law. Okay. So right now, Dubai municipality is the only one building and operating such facilities. When it came to us, as example, whenever we needed a facility, we tender. Okay, and before that, we need to do like a technical study. We need to do a financial study and such things, requirements by the government. Okay, because such big projects should be clear. They should have legal study, because there are effects on, as example, the economy also, how much the treatment will cost, how much different things. And I don't need to go deep into such things. But the Dubai municipality is the only one who decides, and a part of what we do is to do the technical study. Now, when we did the technical study last time, we compared many technologies because at the end we will go with one of them, and we found many problems with other technologies. Autoclaving, as example, they have some cold spots, something within some areas within the bags. The heat will not go there, will not reach, and such things. Each technology got some problems. Shredding technologies, they will have problems with their blades and different things. Right. Anyway, and there's also an issue with what is called the killing rate. How much germs are being killed during the treatment and such things. So at the end, we found that at that time, when we did the study, the best technology available is actually the incinerator. One of the main things here we should also take care of, that the medical waste that we receive contains many things, not only shards, but also some, as example, big pieces of wood sometimes, or of metallic pieces. You cannot, if this will cause problems in the treatment technology, whatever we choose. The incineration can deal with waste of such mixed type. If, as example, a biscuit, container, as example, from the healthcare came within the bag, it's not wise to open it and remove it. It should go to the treatment directly. It will cause problems. But with incineration, it will go smoothly. So these are some hints of what happened. It's not by law that the incineration is the only technology, okay, allowed. But it's what we have chosen when we did our last treatment, because instruction came to us, we should, as example, specify treatment and as example, all possible details, so that companies can give identical or similar technologies, and we can evaluate similarly. Because it cannot just evaluate, as example, someone will give you autoclave, another will give you some plasma, others will give you incineration. You cannot compare technologies and say, I will take this one. You need to give them the specific thing, and everyone will give you his offer of how much he will give this technology will cost. So this is the thing. It's not about a law preventing incineration.
Right.
No.
There is a related question. There are two questions actually. Ricardo is asking, like, are you considering, because in Abu Dhabi, I know we just learned that they have introduced some mobile incinerators. Now, is Dubai municipality considering, having healthcare facilities, having their own mobile incinerators to reduce costs on the management of medical waste by public entities? Is question one. And Jules here asks, DM had floated a tender for a new incinerator recently. So how did COVID affect the strategy and specs for the new one? And how are you looking at this? Probably if there is a wave 2, then what would be the consideration and strategy?
Look, in Abu Dhabi, they are a little bit different because the private sector handles the treatment. Okay, it's not the government. Under the supervision of the government, but the one who's, as example, collecting or doing the incineration is a private sector. Not incineration, any treatment. Okay, so the method is different. In Abu Dhabi, small companies, because they can give the private sector. So if you have multiple companies, each company will bring something suitable to them. Okay, and you can have more options. Okay. In Dubai, it's only Dubai municipality, and so when we chose the incineration, right now, as example, whether this COVID will affect our choice, it will not affect, because we don't, there are issues. This COVID is like an emergency issue. We cannot say that this is a continuous process. We don't know yet, but we should consider it as something temporary, an emergency. During the emergency, you should try to cope with what we have. As example, we bought a portable incinerator, 6 tons per day, the capacity of that one. But it's still for the Dubai municipality. Okay, in the future, if the laws change and the private sector is allowed to build such facilities and run them under Dubai municipality, maybe. But the current contract, the current tender, it will not change. It will take, the tender itself to prepare it takes 2 years maybe, because of technical studies, financial studies. You need to study fees. You need to study many things. It's hard to repeat. So usually, I don't think we'll change our choice. Not now.
Thank you. Thank you. My next question to Yusuf and Andre is, now Engineer Naji had just mentioned, a lot of different kinds of material, including like containers or wood or anything could be coming in with the waste. So now how do you work with healthcare centers, clinics, hospitals, and everyone in an effective manner? Now, is there a difference in the way they are segregating their waste now and handing it over to y'all? Like, is there anything like hazardous, non-hazardous, or is it still like the earlier procedure is followed? How does it work?
I can start if you want, Yusuf.
Yes.
I believe that right now in the market, and this was also a part of my presentation, there is a higher stress to the waste producer to reduce his waste generated. And we know that the treatment cost associated with the waste is always a key factor in this regard. So today, the medical waste is not a cheap waste to treat, and we believe that in most of the clinic and hospital, the waste, the actual medical waste produced is less than what we are collecting today. A part of the waste that we are collecting today could be considered as general waste and non-hazardous waste. And we believe that there is a 15 to 30% capacity for each waste producer, medical waste producer, to bring down his medical waste quantity, which will, I mean, I'm not talking about a COVID or a pandemic situation, but which will ultimately reduce the hassle on the treatment facilities. I am hearing a lot of echo. I don't know if my voice is clear on your side.
It's clear. It's clear. You can carry on. Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, no, I'm done. My point was really, I believe we can stress on the waste producer to watch his waste production, and the diversion to landfill should be pushed further so that everybody works on this in this regard.
Right. Yusuf, would you like to add to that?
Yeah. First, again, to the point that Engineer Naji raised, definitely we can always draw the conclusion that the regulation is the main driver behind the development of the economy of this industry. Without the legal support, even a tender cannot change. That's number one. Number two, to the technology that could be used. Yes, incineration is the most overallistic technology. And probably, again, to Engineer Naji points, if the waste is not correctly segregated, then other technology might be challenging. And that will bring us to what's happening in the medical centers. We believe definitely there is a need and necessity to segregate more at the medical center. At the medical centers today, first, to reduce the stress on the treatment side. And second is the most important point. It just came out after COVID. The costs related to the industry got much higher after COVID. For instance, the protective equipment that we use today is probably 600 times more expensive than what we used to do before. And that probably would change all the cost element related to the industry. Even today, prices might be not sustainable anymore. And therefore, we have to push a different mechanism. Probably segregating more would mean less quantities, and probably would mean as well cheaper treatment solution. I think we have to push toward this in a way or another. Us as collectors specifically, I don't think we can change that without the help again of the authorities. The segregation in general, I would say part of it would have to be led from above, which means with additional regulation stating what's happening in the markets. Hello, are you still there?
Yeah.
All right.
Something happened to the yes. Okay.
Yes. By itself.
Thank you. Right. We have a question here from Latifa Moher from Morocco. They say at the scale of Morocco, the COVID-19 pandemic led to a rapid and unexpected increase in the deposit of pharmaceutical medical waste. Taking charge of the management circuit required considerable mobilization of human and material resources. In addition, the high demand from health professionals and agents in charge of handling, pre-collection, transport to the treatment site, and its disposal at the treatment facilities was the cause of an overflow in the management circuit. Has this problem been experienced in the UAE, in the region, so to say? If so, how was it managed? Any of the panelists can take this question.
Hello. Do you hear me? Oh. Hello?
Yes.
Actually, I have some problem with the system.
No, let's sort this. I think. Okay. We're sorry about this.
So So the question is about how to treat the medical waste as we're speaking, or the change in the treatment aspect of medical waste. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. If this is a question, I think Latifa is correct. Due to the urgency factor, I would say all the treatment capacity, specifically the burning one, is today toward treating the medical waste, the infectious medical waste coming out of COVID, and therefore the other type of waste necessarily are being put apart because practically they can wait little more. As the treatment capacity is overcharged, all the authorities, which is correctly made, they have to prioritize treatment of medical waste, and therefore other type of waste, such as pharmaceutical waste, that can normally wait until the pandemic ends, has put in aside. So I do agree that this would be probably the logical explanation related to that, and this is what we could do ourselves in case there is no other treatment methodology other than the incineration. Let's say, for instance, in South Africa, our non-incinerating technology is still dealing with the other non-COVID related, and therefore there is capacity to treat on it. And this is another point why I would say not one technology need to work. I agree that probably the most holistic technology is the burning, but having more than one technology will only help to providing more diversification and probably to cater for more solutions on the treatment side. Therefore, I cannot say only one would work. There would be more than one, and therefore then you could keep treating more than one type eventually when you have more technologies to treat.
Right. Thank you. So we're actually, I think we've overstepped the time quite a bit. I just want to ask you all if you have any recommendations, all of you, for hospitals, businesses, residents, also with regard to how to manage their, waste and PPE and everything else, and what is the best practice, what would be the best practice going forward? Because I think all of us are going to be dealing with this for a long time to come. Hello.
I think the government already distributed instructions to the private sector and hospitals on how to deal with their PPE. So it's only they need to apply.
He seems to have disappeared. I don't know. He's having some issues, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, he's back. Good. So yeah, with a question for you all, like what would be your strategy going forward with regard to your operations? And particularly, I'm concerned about the residential side of it as well. So is there any strategy that you might be working on? Because for another 1 or 2 years, it's going to be quite a difficult situation. So,
I mean, yeah, I mean, I believe that Dr. Najid has said it. I think the regulation and the I would say the good practice are already set. We know that right now the treatment facility are being overwhelmed with higher quantity of medical waste. I think we need to pass this wave of COVID waste. I mean, based on the data that we have in Dubai, we believe that now we are on the down of the quantities. The quantity of COVID waste has stopped increasing, at least from our customer side, and has started to decrease. So we believe that the pressure will be released. Nevertheless, I believe the time is now for the medical waste sector to think on how they can reduce their medical waste quantities as a first. And for the individuals, I think we need really to stress on how to collect in a safe manner this PPE that still have a potential as hazard, and make sure that this stream and this waste flow is properly managed. There is today a circular from Dubai municipality for the Dubai market. I believe with the time it will be more and more implemented. I agree that there is already a good response. It might be extended and reach a point where it will be totally under control. This is my best guess.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for me, I think again, reflecting on what both gentlemen have said, Saila, we have to remember that during the last 60 days, we have practically a guideline issued every day. We have plenty of guidelines in place. I think my advice for the public sector, we have to, now we're going into a more stable phase. Now we're going into a more stable phase, and therefore probably we need a kind of more sustainable way of passing the message, i.e., with all the messages that we have already today, we might need a version that goes a little longer with us. There's probably a revision that will emphasize on everything that is still important for us to go ahead. And therefore, and for the public and specifically the commercial sector, we want them to know better about this specific guideline from the municipality, because some of them would not know exactly how it's going. And then our job would be at a certain point to reshare the message and to reshare the knowledge that has been published by the AM. I would say probably we need to know more about these guidelines and to have it in a much more direct way to ensure the public knows about it correctly.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's been a very, very interesting session for me. I hope the audience too found it quite enlightening and interesting. And it's been a pleasure to host this webinar, and I thank all our esteemed panelists for joining us today and sharing their experience and insights, and also providing some valuable information on partnerships, best practices, and maybe we will put together this webinar in a report format so we can share it and then possibly take the discussion further, especially with regard to the partnership aspect. And to all those who have tuned in, thank you very much for your participation. There are more such interesting sessions coming up on our forums, so stay tuned and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.